Good evening, everybody. Let's get started. I'm calling this meeting to order. I want to welcome everyone to the March 17th meeting of the City of Minnetonka Sustainability Commission. This is our 20th in-person meeting and second one of this year. The Commission generally meets every other month on the third Tuesday of the month. The schedule and tentative agenda can be obtained by contacting the city's planning division or by visiting the city's website at minnetonkamn.gov. Residents can provide input on tonight's agenda via email or provide input tonight during this meeting, if so desired. The Sustainability Commission's first meeting, believe it or not, was May of 2021. Since then, we have accomplished a significant number of useful and practical actions for city residents. Areas of review for the Commission include air, water, energy, land and ecological resources, recycling, which includes organics collection, which is fairly new in the city, waste management, and other related sustainability areas not addressed by city code or another city advisory group. The Sustainability Commission has a unique role here in Minnetonka, as we serve both as an advisor to the City Council and as an ambassador for the city programs. As an advisor to the City Council, the Sustainability Commission makes recommendations on city plans, policies, procedures, programs, practices, and proposals that relate to sustainability and conservation of our natural resources. Final decisions are then made by the City Council. As an ambassador, the Sustainability Commission attends events to promote city initiatives with the public. With that, I will move to agenda item number 2, the roll call. Ms. Sutherland, would you please call roll?
Chair Golub, I'm going to call roll tonight, so I have
Susan, thank you very much.
a task.
Ms. Thomas, thank you.
Commissioner Carr is absent. Commissioner Ingham? Present. Commissioner Ingraham is absent. Meyer?
Present.
Commissioner Norman is absent. Commissioner Patain?
Present.
Commissioner Scheer, who I'll talk about later, is absent. Commissioner White?
Present.
And Chair Golub.
Present. Thank you. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us here tonight. Thank you very much. Next is approval of tonight's agenda, which is agenda item number 3. Ms. Thomas, do you have anything to change for tonight's agenda? Ms. Sutherland, no? Okay, very good. So since there are no changes, would one of my fellow commissioners make a motion to approve the agenda? Is there a motion?
All motion.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there a second?
I second.
Very good. Ms. Thomas, would you poll the commission members, please?
Ingham?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Norman is not here. Patain
Yes.
and Chair Golub.
Yes, thank you. Motion passes. We will, next, I should say, is item number 4. We need to approve the January 20th, 2026 meeting minutes. Does anyone have any changes to those minutes? I'm looking at my fellow commissioners. No one indicates that. I also looked it over very carefully, didn't see anything wrong. So with that, I will look forward for a motion to approve the minutes from the January 20th, 2026. Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Ms. Thomas, would you poll the commission members, please?
Ingham?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Norman is absent.
Oh,
I
absent.
apologize.
It's quite right.
Patain?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Chair Golub.
Yes, thank you. Motion passes. Next, we have our agenda items, which is a significant topic for tonight. And before we start, I'd like to just briefly go over a couple of quick rules, or procedures, I should say, not rules. I will ask staff, in this case, Ms. Sutherland, to present their report to my fellow sustainability commissioners. I will then ask all of my sustainability commissioner members to ask clarifying questions to staff. If no one is registered to comment, At the end of our Q&A session, if no one is registered to comment, I will then open and immediately close the public input portion for this agenda topic. If an agenda topic is informational, or we simply provide feedback back to staff, then no vote is required by the commissioners, and we'll simply move on. That's kind of a simple, straightforward procedure tonight. And with that, I will turn over the meeting to Ms. Sutherland. Thank you.
Let's see. There we go. Wonderful. Thank you, Chair Golub and Commissioners. Exciting item tonight. This is our Sustainable Minnetonka Award selection, where we'll be reviewing all the applicants that we have received this year. So, a few staff recommendations. The first is to recommend one business and one resident receive a special recognition award for each category. So, you may recall that we have 4 high-level categories, so energy, landscape, water, and waste reduction. And each of those categories specifically are split between residents and businesses. So we'll be recommending at least one business and one resident receive that recognition award for each category. And then if remaining applicants exist within each category for those either businesses or residents, we recommend that all remaining applicants receive that nominee award. And we'll go through these details in a little bit here, but just a quick overview. Also wanted to note that this is all at the discretion of the commission. So there will be an opportunity if the commission, for example, does not feel that any of the applicants would be eligible for the the special recognition award. The commission could seek to just nominate everyone, receive a nominee award. I don't necessarily envision that happening, but just so you know that that is within your discretion. And then we also will have the commission follow a structured scoring process. So we'll go through all of that. So just rest assured that there'll be some structure that you're following tonight. So quick overview. First, we'll talk about the program background. We have some new commissioners on staff, and it's been a year since we last did this process, so we'll just go through that background. We'll talk about the 2025 and 2026 updates to this program. As a refresher, I'll show the table of all applicants that have been received, just a high-level summary, and then we'll go through the summary of the voting process. So if you have any questions, that's the time to ask that. That's a process that just began last year, so it's fairly new to everyone. And then lastly, after we finalize that voting process, we will go through the applicants, and I'll just give a brief summary for each applicant. And after I provide that summary, after each summary, you'll then have an opportunity to score that application. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight, but we'll have more opportunities for questions as we go on. So in terms of background, this program began in 2022, so shortly after the commission was formed. The program purpose has evolved over time, but currently it is to award projects that either promote resilience by mitigating and adapting to Minnesota's changing climate, to protect and enhance the natural environment, and/or promote community adoption of sustainability and conservation's best practices. So this aligns with our climate action and adaptation plan. This also aligns with the council's, city council's strategic priorities. So there's a lot of different, programming that this is aligning with, if you will, not just within the planning division, but even more broadly within natural resources and water conservation staff people here. So, and then we also have broadened the program purpose to not only recognize these highly notable and large-scale projects, but also to recognize these smaller everyday commitments that are happening from just residents in either a single-family home or an apartment complex, or as you'll see, young adults. So we're trying to expand it to be not just an award basis, but also just general recognition for commitments to these sort of actions. We also not only are awarding and recognizing the project, but we also want to take that success story and then share it out to the public so that we're inspiring other residents. And I will say that's a piece that we've been really trying to hit on within our promotions over the last couple of years. And I'm sure, commissioners, that you've experienced this too if you've helped to promote the program at a table, that a lot of people are a bit hesitant and they don't necessarily need or want the award themselves, but when they hear that, oh, that their story could help inspire their neighbor to also take similar action, that's where we're getting more of the motivation factor. So we've tried to kind of steer the program a bit more to that. And then lastly, businesses, residents, and then young adults either working in Minnetonka, owning a business, living in Minnetonka, or going to school in Minnetonka are eligible for an award. And just a couple pictures of some of our early application or awardees, I guess you could say. So in 2025, we made some revisions. One is that now we recognize one resident and one business for each category. So before, we were looking at all applications received for the energy topic together, and that meant that we were choosing between a resident and a business. And in some cases, it was just not apples to apples and really challenging to choose one over the other. So now we look at just residents and just businesses separately for each category. We also updated promotions, so you can see some of the new graphics that we had made. We updated the application process to elicit more data-oriented responses, so quantifiable metrics were requested. We also updated the staff review process too, so we expanded it to allow more staff internally to review and make comments. We also defined the special recognition award evaluation criteria. So before, it was more of a discussion-based decision. Now we actually have scoring criteria that we'll review again tonight that helps the commission just feel a bit more confident that they know how to score a project. And that was all developed by the commission in the past. And then lastly, we also created the nominee award last year. So before, we had multiple applicants and only one person would receive an award. Now we have a special recognition award assigned for that most notable project based on the scoring that we utilize, and then everyone else that has submitted submitted an application that has been deemed eligible by a staff review is then given an award, a nominee award. So everyone essentially that has made it into the commission packet will get a nominee award tonight, so long as the commission is in favor of that. And then for 2026, we further continued to align it with the climate action and adaptation planning goals. We wanted to elicit more applications related to electric heat pumps and geothermal technology. So I went through our permitting software to see who had completed those projects over the last 2 years, and we directly mailed letters to those folks. So that was really fun. We had probably, I'm trying to think how many letters we sent out, upwards of 30 letters collectively, I believe, and we did get several applications from those letters. So that was just another way of doing that direct outreach. In 2026, we received 17 applications, which is a record high, and I think I think that is from that new promotional language. I think it really showcases how people are excited to help inspire others, and so I think that's why we're receiving more applications. I think Minnesota Nice can be a real thing, and people are hesitant to just put their name out. I think also the direct mailings, they basically said, we are aware that you did this project and we invite you to apply. I think a personalized invitation was really powerful. So that's maybe why we're seeing some new or more applications this year. So we received 3 business applications, 11 residents, 1 young adult group, and then 2 children's applications, which is new this year and really exciting, and I'm seeing really big smiles. So everyone's excited about that. I will note that currently it's actually not children are not really considered eligible at this time. However, staff are recommending that the commission do consider recommending either a nominee award or special recognition award for these children. And that is because, so they go to school in Minnetonka. So fundamentally, they're eligible in that sort of way. They've also done really great work, and I think it absolutely aligns with our climate action and adaptation planning to, inspire children. They're our future, so there's a lot of benefits there. So I think this is a really exciting change for the program, and it could really, I think, expand this program in future years by allowing this. So that being said, now there are 6 categories. We have energy as one category, and you can see that we had 2 business applicants and 4 resident applicants within that category. Second category is waste or waste reduction. We had 1 business and 1 resident, so you can see there isn't necessarily competition between those. For landscape, we only received resident applications, so we have 2. For water, again, only resident applications. We received 4. For young adult, we received 1 group application, and then for children, we received 2. And then in terms of the packet, what was included in the application packet is what was submitted to the city. So staff didn't go through and edit anything. It was essentially just a copy and pasting process. And in some cases, the photos had to be limited to a certain amount, but otherwise, everything was as submitted. So for the scoring process, first I'll start out by briefly summarizing each application. And I will say I've printed out a packet of applications for you all, and I will summarize it from a high-level summary. Some of these are very detailed, so I'm not going to read every single detail. If you'd like, I can tell you what page I'm looking at, and perhaps after I go through it, you can also just reference that page if you'd like to see a little bit more data. But in terms of my slides, I tried to pull out the most important and useful information from that application. So I will present 1 application, and after that 1 summary, then I'll ask the commission to score the application. And so you also have score sheets in front of you. It looks like these. You can probably tell which ones they are. You'll find the one that matches with the name of the applicant, and it should be in order as we go. And you'll score that applicant at that time. So the scoring criteria, there's 4 different types. So 1 is the project scale and impact. The second is the quality of the quantitative data provided. The third is the effort to educate others. And the 4th is just images provided. So you can score either a 0, 1, or 2, and these are private scores. You actually don't even need to put your name on the top of these sheets. So it's all just kind of up to you and how you feel like you would score it. So again, we do have categories with a single applicant, and in those cases, we're actually not going to do the scoring because there's no one to score against. So instead, we'll just do a motion. So the commission could choose to do a motion for special recognition for those individual applicants, or you could do a motion for a nominee award. So those ones are the easiest. And then we go on to the categories with multiple applicants, and I'll try to walk through this more simply. So I'll present the application summary, then we'll move to score each applicant. So again, you just circle, the score of each line. And then after that, please add all your scores together and then put a total score at the bottom. And then I'll continue on and I'll give a summary of the next applicant. And then after that, you'll score that applicant. And again, put the total score at the bottom. And then once we complete all applicants within that particular category, so this example is the energy category, then you'll circle the applicant with the highest score. So in this case, it's applicant 2. I did want to just do a caveat. So on your sheet, the icon didn't print out well, you'll notice. It looks like a little, an odd C. But if as an individual, you think no one should get the special recognition here and that everyone instead should just get nominee awards, there's an opportunity for you to say that. Again, I don't really foresee that tonight, but in the case that happens tonight or any other time, there's an opportunity for that. After you complete that first sheet, so these are all individual sheets, Susan over here will collect the ballots, and then she'll count up who received the most top scores. So I think that's the scoring process. I'm going to pause here to see if there's any questions.
What would we do in the event of a tie?
Great question. I deleted that bullet point because I figured it probably won't happen, but if it does. Last year what we did is we said that we would count the total points. So it's possible that maybe if there is a tie, one received more points than the other. But I don't think it's likely that will happen. But if it does, that's what we'll do. Great question. Any other questions? We can also answer questions as we kind of practice within the first round. Good? Okay, awesome. Okay, so in that case, we're going to start with reviewing the applications. The first is going to be the Children's Awards, and I don't think our applicants are here tonight. I moved this to the top because we were maybe going to have one of the children attend. Don't think they did, but that's okay. But for next year, I think we'll probably continue with this process, just to, homework and bedtimes are a thing. So this year we received 2 children candidate applications, Shu Peng and Winston Haig. And so just to confuse things a little bit, because this is a new children's category, we have an option to either continue following the same process that we evaluate all the other categories on, or we could consider this, a different type of category. Oh, here we go. We have our children applicants, or one of. So we could continue with the same scoring process where we, provide one special recognition award and nominee awards for the other, or the commission could choose to provide nominee awards for all applicants and not to choose a special recognition award, or the commission could consider providing both applicants special recognition awards. I think children's category just gives an opportunity to think outside of the box. Maybe there's a different way we want to do things. What we do tonight might be maybe different than what we do in the future, because this is a new process, but whatever the commission chooses to do tonight is up to you there. So just wanted to give that note. So we'll start with the first applicant. So Shu Peng is a 3rd grader at Scenic Heights Elementary School. He loves playing hockey. He wondered how hockey rinks affect the environment, and so he researched how hockey rinks use energy and water and then wrote a paper. He created a tri-board to teach students and families about hockey's environmental impact. He shared ideas about using solar panels, natural sunlight, LEDs, and cold outdoor air to reduce energy use at hockey rinks. And ultimately, he just wants to help people think about ways to make hockey more sustainable. So that is Shu Peng's application. So we're going to pause there. The commission has the evaluation scoring sheets in front of them. Find Shu Peng's chart. I have pens out there available for you too. So independently rank your score. And I will say, if the commission at the end of this decides that we want to give a certain type of award, maybe not comparing these 2 applicants against each other, that's fine. But for now, just score the applicants, I would say. And I see folks turning their packet. If you want to see Shu's complete application, it's on page 30 of your packet.
I have a clarifying question.
Yeah.
Since one of the categories that we're to evaluate is quality of quantitative data, and I can see the tri-fold poster boards, but not in good detail.
Sure.
Can you share if if there was quantitative data
So,
provided?
great question. Thank you for the question. Page 30 in that packet is SHU's full application. So that is everything that was submitted. Yep.
In the photo of his paper, I can see some quantitative data. It says that there's 1 million kilowatt hours of electricity per year that an ice rink uses, and 10,000 gallons of water to make and maintain the ice. I can just see that.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I could zoom, but I don't think it's going to let me. Sorry. All right, we good? Okay. All right, Winston Haig, believe he's in the audience. Thank you for coming. He is a Minnetonka resident and student, and he was inspired by the eco experience at the State Fair in August of 2022. He started by adopting 2 storm drains at that time, and then since then, he's designed and built a modified bike trailer with a bin, pictured here, to expand to 2 to 8 storm drains within a half-mile loop of his home. He clears leaves, grass clippings, litter, and fine sediment from the storm drains. On average, he removes 20 to 25 pounds of debris per each cleanup. He's expanded to about 18 cleanups through 2025. And he's often stopped by neighbors who ask what he's doing. He's involved his siblings in this work, and he's also shared the idea at school with others. So, and with the applicant being here, we're going to have the commission now score this, and then after that, we'll ask if the applicant is interested in making any comments. If not, that's totally fine. So. Chair Golub, do you have any questions?
I have actually a comment from my fellow commissioners. It's not a question. I'm exceptionally impressed with both of the applicants. I hope that my fellow commissioners will agree with me. We do not want to stifle innovation or creativity. They are both very different from one another. I read over the applications several times, and as I said, I'm impressed with both. And this is just my opinion as the chair, and all my fellow commissioner members are certainly able to disagree. But I was thinking about this, and I had mentioned this to Ms. Sutherland earlier today, that I would like to change our thinking a little bit, and rather than award one of them a special recognition award and the other would be a nominee award, because they are so different from one another, I think they both should receive a special recognition award. If that's the case, we could probably not, we could hand in our scores, but they wouldn't need to be tallied up. And so I'm thinking we would both issue a special recognition award reflecting 2 outstanding projects. Commissioner Patain.
Yes, might I add to that? Then I also have a quick question. But I would also just second what you were saying if we were going to turn that into a motion, just to note that. But additionally, I would also say that one also seemed very particularly a little bit more focused on energy. And I know like we have separate categories as is for the adult categories. And the other one was a little bit more focused on, I feel like outdoor, almost landscaping. And so a little bit more environmental focused outdoors, I guess. And so to me, that makes more sense as well, even because they're more category specific. Also, Mr. Haig, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Well, the young Mr. Haig. Thank you also to the older Mr. Haig as well for joining us tonight. We appreciate you coming out. I did have a question for you. Is that okay? Okay, wonderful. Do you mind standing up by the microphone so everyone who's on can hear you? Is that okay? Thanks for joining us. I saw in one of your pictures it looks like you have some friends with you. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I have some friends. The one in the middle is my brother's friend. The one all the way on the right holding a broom is my sister, and the one slightly to the left of her is my older brother.
Nice. So it looks like that you have expanded this into like a family activity, it looks like, as well, and gotten some friends involved.
Yes.
That is wonderful. I hope you know how much we appreciate that, because part of what we hope for is that people will share their love for sustainability and things of that nature with those that they love. So I was very impressed by this project. I think something that I was most impressed by with your project is how long that you've been doing this project. And I appreciate that it looks like you started it at the fair, was it? The state fair in 2022?
Yes.
That's a long time ago. So for you to continue to do this project over such a great period of time, I hope you know how much we appreciate seeing your work.
Thanks.
I'd simply like to add, Winston, we do appreciate your hard work very much. So you've done a great job. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. I think we all feel that way.
I also wanted to second the recommendation for Special Recognition Award, and to thank you for your education, because doing this task takes a lot of hours and ingenuity and creativity, but then when you take the next step forward by educating your neighbors, your friends, family, that's when we can move the whole city and state and country in a sustainable direction. So thank you.
Any other questions for Ms. Sutherland or for our applicant? I turn it back to you, Ms. Sutherland.
Chair Golub, it sounds like there was a motion that could potentially go to the floor. So if someone wants to make that motion and second it, we'll do roll call.
Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
Okay.
And I'll second.
Could you state the motion just for the record?
I'll motion for both of them to be recognized for special recognition.
Perfect.
And I'll
Perfect.
second that motion.
Very good. Should we pull the commissioners? Yes.
Ingham,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Patain,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Chair Golub.
Absolutely. Thank you. Motion passes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so now we're on to the Energy Awards. You can flip your evaluation sheet to the next. And
Can we also, can we also add that the recognition award evening will be at City Council?
Yes. Yep. So April 13th, you'll receive your special recognition award from the mayor and city council. We'll take some photos, so and a few of our commissioners will be there as well. So again, thank you for your work. Awesome. Okay, so for the Energy Awards, now we're looking at our business candidates. We had 2 applications received. It is the Vale Apartments and Ridgedale Library, which is technically actually the Ridgedale Service Center, owned by Hennepin County. So the Vale Apartments are located at 11816 Wayzata Boulevard. It's an apartment complex of 197 units. They opened in July 1st of 2025. And while they did submit multiple details in their application, which if you would like to reference it, it's on page 2 of your packet. I asked for verification of some of the information that they shared, such as the energy efficient appliances, and I also asked if they had done some energy assistance planning with the utilities. The property manager wasn't able to provide that information to me. And unfortunately, sometimes it takes other people being involved, like their development teams, to provide that. And since I wasn't able to verify that, I would recommend that the commission considers this project as just their efforts to install 10 electric vehicle charging stations. So that being said, they installed 10 vehicle chargers, which is really cool. So that essentially is their project. And these are for their residents too. So it's in their parking garage. So with that, I will let the commission score according to that information. And if you could look up when you're done, then I will know when to move on to the next. Cool. Okay, going to move on to the next applicant. This is the Ridgedale Regional Center, owned by Hennepin County. It's located at 12601 Ridgedale Drive. This is the Ridgedale Library and County Service Center. So I believe there's the courthouse there, offices, where you renew your driver's license, those sorts of services. This project was driven by Hennepin County's Climate Action Plan that has a goal of meeting 10% of the building's energy, each of their facilities' energy needs by on-site solar by 2030. So you'll see down at the end of the slide, this actually meets 28% of their building's electricity use. They installed 309 kilowatts of solar, which was actually 562 solar panels. So very large structure. It generates enough electricity to power roughly 12 homes' energy use per year, or you could consider that also to be equivalent to 21 gas-powered vehicles being removed from the road. That application is on page 3 of your packet, if you'd like to see everything that was submitted. If you could score that, and then look at me or raise your hand once you're done. Oh, yeah. Great question. I decided to not showcase the videos for the applicants. I think there was 2 that provided videos. The city does have that and can use that if we ever wanted to, make some sort of publication about it. But as I was creating the PowerPoint in an effort to just kind of speed up our presentation, I did not include them. They also were very similar to the information, the other pictures shared. So in this case, it was essentially what we're looking at. But at another time, if you want to see it, it's very cool.
Can I ask a question? To the commissioners. Have we talked, and I don't know that this was on, so this is obviously a county building. Have we had, county buildings have same standing to enter this as do private entities? I don't know that we've had one enter, a public, organization, county organization enter before.
I'm not sure that we have the
Or
way.
just has it been discussed? I just
Well,
want to process out loud as we're.
I think, to answer your questions, I don't think it has been, and I don't think we've really had to face this decision in the past. I mean, the way that Ms. Sutherland structured this is we have 2 under the business category, and you could consider Hennepin County as a nonprofit business versus a profit business, and Vail Apartments is a for-profit business.
I appreciate that. And I know that we could break out businesses into a million different categories for
Right.
something that is just the access to resources that a county entity, a government entity has versus a private. To me, I know we have small businesses that enter this. We've had small business winners before versus a county. I just want to be mindful or just at least address that fact that we're considering a business that is technically a county entity in this. So I just wanted to at least voice that.
Yeah, I understand, Commissioner Patain, what you're saying. We may want to consider another category in the future, perhaps for public sector submittals as opposed to...
Chair, it wasn't necessarily that.
Well,
I
it's
felt
just-
like
I'm
it
just-
needed to be said. If we're voting, I just felt like it needed to be said. Just that this is the county and our library, like that. I just felt like it needed to be said that there needed to be some disclaimer of sorts to be said that we're voting on an entity that we allow entrance, or that I don't know that we've even considered that factor in the past, or if it's something that we maybe should consider when we're for the competition in the future. So, not that anything needs to change right now, but we can table this for later. But I wanted it to at least be addressed in the moment. So
I understand your concerns. I mean, one could say that perhaps we should not even be voting on Hennepin County, since we are potentially receiving grants from the county, and we're supportive, and the county is supportive of our actions. But just in the merits of the project, I think we need to focus on just the merits of the project.
Yeah, I agree with Patain though that maybe next time we should update what qualifies as a business, because something that's, as you said, funding us maybe should not be included under the business section for the awards.
has someone considered that? Like, not to be, I hate to be that person, but did anybody consider this with the city and like whether or not they should be receiving an award from the city of Minnetonka?
Yes, thank you, Chair and Commissioners. I appreciate the discussion. I think we had similar thoughts and questions internally. First off, this is your program, so whatever the commission feels most comfortable doing tonight or in the future, it's completely at the commission's discretion. I would agree that Hennepin County isn't a business. It's more of a business than a resident, perhaps, so that's why it fell into the business category. I think, so there's a few thoughts I have, but again, this is your program, so what I'm saying now is just my own personal thoughts. I think, so I see Hennepin County as potentially an institution, if you will. So that means we could also be receiving like a school applying, perhaps. Trying to think of other, maybe like a watershed district. I don't know if we have any other facilities of that sort within our, yeah, like a religious facility, as Thomas is saying, or a nonprofit. So yeah, there's a whole host of non-business applicants that we could get. One reason I personally like the idea of awarding them is, first off, when we're talking about they fund us, at least personally, we don't have any grants right now in the sustainability department that's funding us. And it doesn't fund the Sustainability Commission. So I don't really see a direct conflict of interest there. Also, the county could choose to not support solar. So if they're helping the city of Minnetonka reach our community-wide climate action and adaptation plan goals, I think that is award worthy personally. The other aspect of our climate, or our, this program that we're trying to shift towards, is trying to make it more recognition based, so that everyone feels that there is value in participating, because that's how our climate action and adaptation plan goals are written. It's on a per capita goal. So that means every single person, whether you're a person or a business, is technically included in that. And so that means Hennepin County is included in that. It means all school districts are included in that. All city of Minnetonka buildings are included in that. And so essentially we want everyone to participate. So those are kind of my thoughts. However, yes, it's possible we could make an institutions category or public facilities category, but I think Commissioner Patain raises a really great point that we could have a very large commercial property and a very small business. And so those are both businesses. How do you compare? Last note I wanted to say is I think when we were creating the scoring criteria, and it's been over a year ago now, so it's been a while, but I believe that we tried to create the scoring criteria to account for those organization type differences. So if you look here, the project scale and impact, I think we included because that is inherently a part of a project. But the other three, in theory, are kind of make it like a level playing field, if you will. Quality of quantitative data, whatever type of entity you are, large or small, you could provide good or bad data to us. Same thing with educating others, large or small, you could do that. And then just images. In the past, we had applicants not provide any images. Now, it's required, but when we think about the education of others and what this program really is meant to be, the better images you provide, the better we can tell your story. So I know that was kind of a long rant, but those are things that I had been thinking about. So take those with what you will, but again, it's up to the commission to decide. And if you want to do something similar like we did for the Children's Awards, where we gave both entities that's a possibility too. But I'll end with that.
Go right ahead.
In my opinion, I think we should still vote, and I think we should pick one, but I think we should just keep in mind the different levels of capability that come with being a large institution, such as a county versus a private business. And I think as long as we're taking that into account, I think it's fair to count both of them still in the running.
Any other comments or questions?
I appreciate the conversation around it. The more that I think about it, though, I think for this year, I'm going to abstain from this voting in this category.
Commissioners, with that would mean that we don't have a quorum. So I don't know if Commissioner Patain, if you still want to stick with that.
I'm not going to vote just because we don't have quorum with me not voting. And I apologize for putting the other commissioners in a bad position, but.
Yes. Yeah, that's fine. So what does that mean then? No one gets an award?
No, I think, Commissioners, Chair Golub, I think that you should do the next ballot, or the next item on the ballot, score that one.
Oh, I'm talking about so this is for the energy category for businesses.
And how many do we have?
Who gets what?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're voting for, so you're talking about you don't want to vote for either of them?
Correct. I'm abstaining from this category.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think this category would get any awards then.
I think that without a quorum here, I think that, again, because this is an award situation, that, and again, now Allie and I are just ruminating out loud. I think that you could certainly give both a nominee award.
That's what I was going to suggest. In lieu of a special recognition, and essentially a first and a second place, we could certainly give each a nominee award, reflecting the fact that they do care about
Yeah,
sustainability.
And that makes sense because internally staff has reviewed these, and so anything included in the packet essentially could receive that nominee award. So we could do that. Sound good? Okay.
Commissioner Patain,
So
does that seem reasonable to you?
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Okay.
I was not going to vote on that.
No, I understand.
And that's not to say I won't vote next year if there's another institution. I have to sit with that and think about what that means. And at a present, I'm not going to vote on that.
We understand. There's one statement here somewhere that Ms. Sutherland wrote that's saying we can make an award at the discretion of the commission.
It's
So we have
fully
that
at the
flexibility. And with that, would one of my fellow commissioners, like to make a motion for both of these categories to receive the nominee awards. Sir,
I'll motion.
is it second?
I'll second.
Very good. Susan?
Bingham?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Patane abstains. White?
Yes.
Golub?
Yes.
Great. All right, moving on. So this is the Energy Awards resident candidates. And before we move on, I also wanted to note, as you're thinking about potential changes you want to see next year, please share those because we'll review the minutes. And then I was actually thinking at our next meeting, that would be a great time to consider 2027 changes, which is pretty crazy. It's been that long. So Energy Awards resident candidates, we received 4 applicants: Paul Stork, Peter Lund, Jim Colodes, and then Eric Winter. So Paul Stork, he installed 10,680 kilowatt hours of solar, which accounted for 22 panels. So he also installed a geothermal furnace, which heats and cools his house and is also connected to a hot water heater. He has an electric vehicle car that uses geothermal and solar to power that vehicle. And then he also has done a series of building envelope improvements, such as improving his windows, like new windows, insulation, what have you. And then he also installed a solar tube light, which now I've learned what a solar tube light is. If you see in the top right corner of this PowerPoint, he installed this light. It's essentially a tube that reflects sunlight through a series of mirrors, and so it's all natural sunlight in that bathroom. And then he didn't specify how many credits that he received, but he just stated that he received full tax credits, or federal tax credits and Xcel Energy credits. So if you could vote for Paul Stork, or SCORE, his application. And his application is on page 4, I believe, if you want to see. He included a lot of details. And maybe a comment that I would like to make, in case this maybe influences, the information that I provide in the slides is what I feel very comfortable with saying is verifiable. For example, Paul Stork mentioned something about that he added the geothermal furnace to make the house 100% electric. I don't have a way of necessarily verifying that. So I call the certain information out on these PowerPoints to say this is what I think the commission could use in order to do your scoring. So that's why in some cases I'm not including some of those details, because we don't necessarily have a way of verifying that. We can only do so much. So if that helps you make your decisions, I would say, yes, there's a lot of information here. I would focus on these slides if you can. Okay, I think most are done. Moving to the next, Peter Lund, page 6 in your packet. Let's see. He installed 9.9 kilowatts of solar, which was 30 panels of solar. He also had a home energy audit, and then after that he installed a dual fuel hybrid cold climate heat pump system. A lot of words. Essentially, it's both electric and gas powered. It's a high efficiency furnace, which is 97% efficient. And these units use electricity majority of the time, and they're very common to have in our climate. Whenever there's a backup heat needed, that's when the gas power clicks in. So while environmentally having full electric would be best based on our the grid being more comprised of renewables, it's not exactly feasible, and it's very, very common to see these dual fuel hybrid heat pump systems being installed. That's what I've learned. So if you could score the applicant. Good for the next one? Okay. Jim Colloide, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He also installed a dual fuel heat pump, high efficiency, which is 96% efficiency, very similar to what I just explained for the last applicant. He stated that he experienced a 22% energy savings annually since I believe it was 2023. So you could look at his application on page 8. He showcased how his electric bills had gone up, but his gas bills went down, and overall savings amounted into a 20% energy savings annually, which I thought was a really cool analysis that he was able to do. He also subscribes to Solar Gardens, and he provided very detailed information on rebates. So he shared 5 different rebates that he received for a total of $4,800. And just to kind of preface that, that's the kind of data that I think we really want to see with these applications, because that's how somebody else can say, wow, they got all of these rebates from these different sources. I think that's really helpful. So you can score that applicant.
One comment I wanted to make regarding what's being called the dual fuel.
Sure.
Is that from looking at the previous candidates' models, it appears that it's actually a separate Daikin gas furnace and a totally separate cold climate heat pump with a converter to communicate between the two, modulating. And that's, from an educational perspective, I think that's important difference to look at. And the question comes up, especially going forward as our electric grid becomes more renewable energy and less carbon. The goal would be to promote all electric and to eliminate unnecessary fossil fuel investment. The electric heat strips can be an excellent backup at about a fifth of the cost of what a gas furnace backup would be. And there is higher cost when it's utilized, but cold climate heat pumps can go down to minus 15 degrees. And if we're looking at maybe 5 to 10 days out of the winter where we're below minus 15, that the electric heat strips would go on, then the additional cost of energy would be compensated by the lower upfront cost. So just for educating Minnetonka residents, I think looking at the overall savings and to optimize the goal of trying to be as sustainable as possible. They're good projects in meeting the goals of decreasing energy utilization and utilizing a more energy efficient system, and the heat pump would do the bulk of the work and less fossil fuel. But
Thank you, Commissioner Meyer. I think you're right. There's a scale and a range of these projects. Gas furnaces being the least renewable, least sustainable, if you will. And then the full electric heat pumps being the most sustainable, and there's going to be a range in between there, and there's going to be a range of costs. And so I would say these projects are probably maybe in the middle towards like the top tier, but they're not the full electric options, as Commissioner Meyer is saying. So I think that's good context. However, I also have recently talked to Electrify Everything. It's a cohort ran by CEE and other local governments, and I was surprised to learn how even that entity is promoting dual fuel as an option, which I was surprised about because their title is Everything Electric or Electrify Everything. So yeah, I think there's a lot to talk about there, but it just kind of goes to show there's a range of options for these efficiency projects. Okay, I think we're okay on the next. So we're going to go to Eric Winter, page 8, 9, 9 in your packet. He installed a geothermal heating and cooling system. They have an electric water heater that uses the geothermal waste heat. He explained that he had an 8-year payoff, and there was some initial, mid-year replacements that he had to do, which is maybe why it was a little longer than expected. But he also received energy rebates from Xcel Energy and the federal tax rebates. So you can see the information he provided to the city on page 9, but this summarizes the majority of it. And then that applicant is going to be the last of the scoring within that category. So after you're finalized with their score, if you could circle the applicant that had the highest score and pass your ballot in to Ms. Thomas, it'd be great. Oh. Very cool. All right, we've received all the all the scoring. Paul Stork received the highest score unanimously. So in that case, I would look for a motion to recommend special recognition for Paul Stork. And it could be a separate or same motion to provide a nominee award for the remaining applicants.
Thank you, Ms. Sutherland. Is there a motion from one of my fellow commissioners?
I motion to do the special recognition for Paul Stork, and then I would also say the special nominee for the remaining participants.
Very good. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Ingham,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Patain,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Golub.
Yes, motion passes. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you all. All right, we're on, the next two should be fairly easier in terms of we don't have to score them necessarily. So the next is the Waste Awards. This is for the business candidates. We received one business applicant, which was Abbott Minnetonka. Question, Commissioner? Oh, did I?
Yeah, we don't have to vote.
Oh, correct, sorry. Yep, so there's no scoring.
Okay.
Yeah. So Abbott Minnetonka is located at 14900 Minnetonka Industrial Road. It's a campus of 4 manufacturing buildings for medical devices. They have over 700 employees on this campus, and they've increased waste diversion from the landfill from 40% in 2018 to 89% in 2025. They've done this through education programs for composting requirements, and then as well as significant recycling efforts. And some examples they provided were precious metal collection for the offsite recovery, plastic bag, and nitrile glove collection for offsite repurposing. You can see that they provided, if you go to page 10, 11, 12, 13, they provided a lot of pictures. They have multiple staff members that are dedicated to this work there. So, actually page 14 too. So you can see they have a lot of time and capacity and resources for this work. And it's very, very impressive. Actually, to give some context, the state of Minnesota has a recycling goal of 75% we want to recycle 75% of our waste, and that's a very, very tough goal to reach. Most counties are only at around like 55%, so for their facility to reach 89% is pretty incredible. So, but that, we don't have to score. So it's actually just a motion for the commission to decide if you want to do special recognition or nominee here. So I'll open it up for chair to make
Michael,
decision.
I'll motion for a special recognition for Abbott.
is there a second?
I would second.
Very good.
Ingham,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Patain,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Chair Golub.
Yes, motion passes. One just personal comment. I think the information submitted from Abbott Minnetonka is extremely well done. Having been in a role like that in the private sector, I can appreciate the level of effort, and I think they definitely deserve it. They're doing a great job, and their data demonstrates that.
All right, next is the Waste Awards. This is a resident candidate. We only received one, and these are for the residents of Ridgepoint Senior Living. So Ridgepoint Senior Living is located at 12600 Marion Lane West. It is a senior living facility with 220 residents. This was a resident-led project, so that's why it falls under the resident category. A group of residents noticed that there was a lot of residents that were generating plastic bag waste. The project started as a plastic bag mat weaving project. So one of the residents was collaborating at her church to do this project, and she wasn't receiving much support from her church friends. And so she brought the idea to her neighbors at the senior living facility, and they all immediately got on board. And so now it's spiraled into this very large project. They have created 34 mats. Each mat takes 500 bags to make. I talked to her on the phone for about half hour and got a lot of details on this project, but she was explaining how they take a plastic bag, they cut off the handles, they cut off the bottom, and then they take the middle square of the plastic bag, and they make strips. Then they tie those strips together, they make a giant yarn ball of plastic bags, and then they take a loom that one of the residents built, and you can see they string together these mats. They're 2 layers, and then they deliver them to people experiencing homelessness in Minneapolis. And that started with one of the people that go to that woman's church. Apparently, he goes down to Minneapolis once a week delivering sandwiches to homeless people, and so they're still connected with him. And so he's the one then delivering these mats, and they were saying that the mats go almost immediately. So, yeah, it's a very, very involved project. I believe the person that submitted this is a member of our senior center here. So she's even started talking to the other seniors here. But there's a lot of information here that was really fun. So.
I have to say, I thought this was an incredible upcycling project, and I was so impressed because the volunteer hours and the production were put in, as well as the ingenuity and all the hours to implement it. So I definitely would move for a special recognition for Ridge Point Senior Living residents.
As you all know, waste is my favorite area of sustainability. It's my favorite. They laugh, our audience member, because it is I say this every meeting. But anyways, so I was really excited to see this. And then also it reminds me that no matter what stage of life that we are in, we can all make an impact in sustainability. And then not only did they do this, they upcycled it and then saw how they could help their community further. And just this project is like a full circle project. And so I just think that's really beautiful and really amazing. I'm really excited about this project. A project like this, number one, because it was resident led, and the resident said, I see a need in the community, how can I help? And then brought it back to people within her smaller community to get them to help. But also I hope that other people see like, oh, apparently this is a need. I know that you said that these go right away when they're brought to the people who are experiencing homelessness. And so perhaps more people can see that this is a project that is number one, it looks like, relatively easy to do or accessible to people of all ability levels to help their community. So I second your motion, and that's a very long-winded way of saying that I second your motion, but also that this was just touched my heart for sure.
Are you ready for the roll? Okay.
Yes.
Ingham,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Patain,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Chair Golub.
Absolutely. Motion passes. I'm also spent many, many years doing environmental consulting, focusing on solid waste management. So this is another outstanding example of what individuals can do to improve the environment and to take a product and reuse it. It's excellent.
Thank you for all the comments. Now we're on to the landscape awards. We have 2 resident candidates, Peter Gosman and Catherine Malotki. Peter Gosman, he converted 100% of his turf grass to native landscaping since 2020. His lot is about half an acre. He's planted over 120 native grasses, sedges, and flowers. He's received grants from the Watershed District jointly with his neighbor, which I thought was quite unique. He also received 2 other additional grants, he noted, and he's also purchased dozens of bales of mulch from the city of Minnetonka site. So I thought that was another cool opportunity to kind of see a closed loop there, if you will, with our products that we're providing. On the bottom row here, this is his before picture of his front yard, and this is his after picture, so you can kind of see the expansion. Yeah, he provided a lot of really beautiful photos. And then his application is on page 17 and 18. He provided cost data too, if you wanted to note that, which I thought was of interest. But if you could score his application, that'd be great. All right. Gonna move on. That's okay. All right, so Catherine Malotke, she, so this application was actually submitted by 9 Mile Creek Watershed. So this is going to be, oh, sorry. Do you have a question?
No, sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Go ahead.
Just wanted to make sure. So Catherine Malotke, I just wanted to note she's the first of, I believe, 5 applications that were submitted by 9 Mile Creek Watershed. Historically, Elizabeth Bohr, which I've learned, I believe she was previously on the commission.
She was on the commission, yes.
So she's well known around here. She is the one that actually wrote all of the next 5 applications. She works very closely with all of these different applicants on their projects. Historically, I believe she's picked one application to submit and kind of like maybe the best of the best. And I told her, you know, we're actually moving more towards a recognition program in a way, and we'd love to hear all the great work that residents are doing. And I came in the next day and there were 5 applications. So I was like, you know what? You deserve an award, Liz. So maybe there's another category for us. But anyway, just wanted to kind of make a note of that Catherine was nominated by Elizabeth Bohr at the 9 Mile Creek Watershed, which is one of 4 watersheds that we have in the city of Minnetonka, and our engineering water resources staff work very closely with them and respect their work greatly, and we collaborate very much with them. So that being said, Catherine improved landscaping and captured water runoff on her property through this project. She installed 430 square feet of permeable pavement to direct stormwater off of her property. She installed 261 square feet of stormwater swale, which is over here, to capture water and add native pollinator habitat, which was over 150 plants in that area. And I also thought it was really of interest is that her property is actually located very close to Lone Lake Park, which is a known rusty patch bumblebee location. And so that's why she was motivated to install that native pollinator habitat, and also why Elizabeth Bohr submitted this for the landscape category, even though there are stormwater benefits to this project. But she, in her write-up, says something specific to that this is, the drive of this project was the landscaping and the protection of native pollinators. So if you could score her application, and then after that, circle your top candidate, pass in your ballots. You guys are making it easy for us. We have a unanimous vote again for Peter Gosman. So if you want to make a motion for special recognition based on that, you can.
Is there a motion?
And it could also include the nominee award for Catherine Malotke
Yes.
as well.
I'll motion for special recognition for Peter and nominee for Catherine.
Is there a second?
A second.
Ingham,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Patane,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Chair Golub.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, we are back to scoring again. Water awards, this is for the resident candidates. All of these were submitted by 9 Mile Creek Watershed District again. So we have Water Edge Homeowners Association, Andrew Schneider, Sandy and Mike Rusbald, and Glen Atrium Condominium Association. So Water's Edge Homeowner Association, it's a Shady Oak Lake shoreline restoration project. So if you're familiar with Shady Oak Lake, it's all single family residents around it. This group are homeowners that are part of that homeowners association of just private single-family residents. So their area was battling invasive buckthorn, and they wanted to remove that. So that they went through a removal process. Apparently it had very, very steep slopes, which was quite unique, and there was a lot of erosion they were experiencing. They fully restored their shoreline. The entire association was on board, which if you go into some of the details on page, let's see. Sorry, let me just make sure I'm on the right page. Page 21. That's no small feat. I don't know if she included how many properties, but I think it was several. So, you know, that includes going to a board and getting everyone on board. So I think that's a really impressive collaboration there. They applied for several grants. They planted over 3,000 native plants. And then they had 3 different phases of this project. So this has been happening for a while. Phase 3, I'm not going to read the sizes, but you can see on the screen that they had pretty substantial plots of land that they were revitalizing. And you can see in the pictures that, you know, these aren't just small little strips along. These are pretty substantial areas. Okay, so if you want to move on to scoring, if you haven't already, you can do so. And in an effort to stay on time, if you could give me a little nod or thumbs up, like Chair Golub did a thumbs up, that works. All right, gonna move on. Andrew Schneider installed a rain garden on his personal residential property to protect water quality. There's a quote in here that says, "I'm deeply committed to environmental sustainability and excited about the opportunity to install a rain garden on my property. My primary motivation for this project is to improve local water quality by reducing runoff and helping groundwater recharge." So very, very motivated for the environmental aspect of this project. This project allows the water to infiltrate into the groundwater instead of flowing through the storm drain directly to Shady Oak Lake. He installed 85 native pollinator plants and 90 square feet of rain garden. So you can see his kind of design down here, and then this whole area. And I thought this was kind of unique because oftentimes I see rain gardens near a road. So I don't know, I'm not a stormwater professional, but I was surprised to see it along kind of where you would see normal landscaping. So that was new to me, but. So if you want to move on to scoring and give me a thumbs up once you're done. Sorry, his application is on page 23 too, if you wanted to take a quick peek. All right, I'm gonna move on to Sandy and Mike Rooswald. Everyone's ready? Good. Okay. All right, page 25. Sandy and Mike installed a native shoreline buffer along their property. You can see a map aerial that was provided. This was to increase pollinator habitat and nutrient removal from Wing Lake. Their shoreline was eroding from muskrat tunneling, so that doesn't sound very fun. They installed new coconut core logs and native plants stabilizing the shoreline. Over 900 native plants were installed, and the shoreline buffer was 117 feet by 16 feet. I'm going to score theirs. All right, move to the last applicant in this section. Glen Atrium Condominium Association is located at 14601. I'm actually not certain what type of housing this is. I don't know if Susan is or not. It's okay if you don't.
Yeah, Chair, it is a condominium association primarily for older adults.
So it's just like a multifamily building of sorts. Okay. So Lizzie Bohr, she mentioned that this was completely resident-led. So they installed a shoreline buffer around the pond, previously neglected and disused, overgrown with buckthorn and other invasives. They restored this to be like a multi-use park-like oasis. So it's not even just for their own residents. It's for the homeowners there, but also neighboring children and seniors of adjacent care centers and all of their neighbors, which I thought was pretty unique. It took over 10 years. They removed over 10 years of buckthorn growth. So I'm not exactly sure how long they participated in it, but it sounds like a lot of work. They mentioned that there was the waist-high weeds that they were removing, and then also invasive non-native plants. It was done to protect the water quality and pollinators and wildlife, and they installed 400 native plants, 2 large native trees, and the shoreline buffer of 100 feet by 8 feet. So I think this just represented, you can tell by the pictures, another great example of pretty immense collaboration between residents. And some education pieces you can see in the photo. Not only are these neighboring people using it, but they're also, as Diane mentioned, using this opportunity for education too, which is pretty great. So if you want to finalize the scoring for that project, circle your top applicant and then pass your ballot in to Susan. That would be great. Okay, we had a few different votes, I think. However, the majority was Glen Atrium Condominium Association. So that last project had 4 of 5 votes. So if a commissioner wants to make a motion to recommend special recognition based on that score, you may do so. Could also consider doing recommending nominee awards for all remaining applicants.
I would like to make the motion to provide the special recognition award to Glen Atrium Condominium Association and nominee awards to the other applicants.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Very good.
Ingham,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Patane,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Chair Golub.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, commissioners. One last application. This is for our Young Adult Awards. We had one application received that was from the Vantage program, and it was a high school team, really, I guess, doing work on a project with DEMCON. So if you're not familiar, this Minnetonka High School has a program called the Vantage Program. That's a project-based learning opportunity for students. They often pair with local businesses or even, the city, for example, to do project-based learning. There's a specific class called Global Sustainability. I believe we've had past young adult applicants from that program submitted in the past. And this one was particular to a waste reduction project. Natalie Berg, Lydia Cameron, Camden Fowler, and then Stella Westley were the students a part of this project. They collaborated with DEMCON, which is a local MRF, actually, a material recovery facility located in Shakopee. And the students had an implementation charter which they have since completed, and it was to do market research and analysis on recycling of polycoated fibers, so PCF packaging in the United States. They wanted to identify current and future end markets for that. They evaluated current practices from major brand owners, and they wanted to develop a strategic public and industry education plan for adoption. So my understanding is that they completed all of those project charters. They had a presentation that they shared with me, the PowerPoint of that. I included some slides that I thought captured majority of their work. They did a bunch of survey. They completed surveys and presented the results. They came up with some conclusions. You can see they also were going on site. But their teacher actually nominated them for this award. So if you want to see their full application, it's on page 28 and 29. And I guess I apologize, we're not doing scoring for that. This is just based on a motion. So if someone wants to make a motion for either a nominee or a special recognition award, you can do so.
I'll motion for special recognition.
Is there a second?
I'll second that. I'd also like to note that in the future, I love that the teacher recommended that, and I'd like for us to be mindful of how we can better communicate this competition, I guess, if you will, to more of our educational leaders so that they can potentially nominate more of their students in the future, because I love that. But that was my second as well.
Great comment, thank you.
Ingham,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Patane,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Chair Golub.
Yes. Motion passes, thank you.
All right, that concludes this item. So Chair Golub, I don't know if you want to have any other additional discussion on this item, but that's all from staff.
One comment I think I'd like to make, just kind of in conclusion. We have, when I first reviewed the applicants, I said to myself, wow, I'm impressed. The number of applications has grown. The scope of the applications in terms of what people have thought of has grown. And I think we have a lot to be proud of. And I'm humbled by the applications and the quantity and the ingenuity of what people are, how they're improving the environment through our work. So it's great to be associated with this program, and especially tonight, since we're focusing on this, our awards program. It's very humbling, and it's great. It's fantastic work. I want to thank all of the applicants. Some of you are watching now, thank you very much. For those of you that are watching, there's some really creative, caring people in our community. So we want to give them a big thank you. And with that, I think we'll move on to item number 6.
And really quick, I just
go right
wanted
ahead,
to make,
sorry.
no, it's okay. You reminded me, I should make a last note that The award ceremony will be held on April 13th at the City Council meeting at 6 p.m. and it'll be one of the first items. I believe it is the first item under special matters. So we'll host that ceremony. Award plaques will be given to all nominees and special recognition awardees. So if you are watching and you were an applicant, stay tuned for a follow-up email. I actually sent one today with some of those details, but we will be reaching out again shortly. So thank you for applying or nominating.
Thank you, sir.
We can move on to the next item, as Chair Golub mentioned. So general staff updates. Just mentioned the last one, so the City Council meeting. Related to that, any of the commission can come. If you would like to attend, you are encouraged to attend. It's a really fun opportunity to see all the applicants being awarded. In the past, we actually had some children join, their families, so it's just a really, really cool and inspiring event. We do take photos, so if you would like to be in those photos, you're welcome to as well. And again, that's at 6 p.m. So if you are interested in attending, please let me know by email and we can confirm. On Wednesday, April 22nd, we've confirmed that there is going to be the Boards and Commission Appreciation Dinner. So you should have most likely received an email from Sarissa today, our administrative staff, on that. But you are all invited to that. So if you are coming, please respond to Sarissa and let her know. Tuesday, May 19th. Let me just make sure there isn't something. Oh, okay. We'll talk about these dates and then there's more dates at the bottom. Zipping to May, that's our next commission meeting. So May 19th is a Tuesday. So we won't meet for a little bit. However, if you are part of a subcommittee, which I believe all of you here are, I believe 2 of our groups are actually meeting tomorrow. So the reuse, not ours, Brian. So there's 3 groups. We have a tours group, which has actually met twice already. They're overachievers at the moment, soon to be followed by others. But the tours group has actually morphed into a learning group. So upon conversations, we've decided that, we should talk about presentations that could be made to the commission and on-site tours. So we're having really good discussions about that, and I really appreciate the one-off meetings that we've been having outside of the commission. I'm really looking forward to doing that. So thank you for that. The reuse group and then the Everything Electric group, we have it scheduled to meet tomorrow.
Can I ask who's on tours?
It is Dave, Carr, and Brian.
Brian. All right, cool. That's
Yes.
I got good representation there. Love Dave too. Love Dave too.
And Commissioner Patain, if you wanted to join, you could.
You just said they've met multiple times.
I know.
Have you seen my calendar?
During the day, too.
Multiple times? I knew Brian was on there as soon as you said that. I was like, who is it, Brian or Diane? Which one? It's one of them two. Me and the kids are busy, right, guys?
Right. Yes, so we've had some fun conversations and probably we'll have more soon. So yeah, so the reuse and Everything Electric meetings are tomorrow, so stay tuned for those. CAP update, just wanted to share some more exciting updates. So I've submitted a lot of grant applications recently. Still waiting to hear back about those. One of them was for support for a green cost share program where we could subsidize energy efficient or electrification equipment. So we're waiting to hear back about that. That's from it would be supported by the state of Minnesota, so the Pollution Control Agency, and submitted some other as well. There's a Minnesota Green Corps application out as well, so we will be submitting for that too. So stay tuned. We just kind of have to wait and be patient. I think every grant I've submitted for has extended their deadline out. They say they're going to get back to you by a certain time, but almost all of them have pushed it out for another month. So we just kind of wait and see. Yes.
When is the potential decision date for the Green Corps?
For the actual person. So when
Well, when we would be awarded.
Oh, okay. I ask because previously it was supported by the federal government.
Yeah.
And so last year there was funding issues, and they decided that they are no longer supporting AmeriCorps programs, and Green Corps is one of them. So then the state took it on. The state actually agreed to host it again this year, which is amazing. I will say with less host sites. So I think before there was maybe close to like 80, if I recall.
Wow.
Now there's more like 50, and I think it's due to budgeting. But my understanding is the application is due on the 24th. I think they do phone call interviews in April. And we probably would hear back by May. If we were selected, the person would not start until August or September. And it is a 9-month period.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
So stay tuned for those. If we're successful with any of the grants that we complete, we will let you know, or grant applications we submit, I'll let you know. We've also received updated greenhouse gas emission data for the city. So I'll be sharing an update more specifically on that in your Friday e-news. And then after that time, once you had time to kind of review that information on your own, we'll bring it to probably one of our next commission meetings to go over that information. You can find the data. It's already published online at regionalindicatorsmn.com. If you search, if you find, here, actually I could pull it up if that's okay.
I'm on the edge of my seat. I was like, just
I know.
tell us.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
tell
yeah,
us.
yeah.
Give it to me. Is it
I don't want
looking
to,
good?
there's a lot of information
Diane
to
was
share.
typing. I was like,
yeah.
Commissioner Meyer, what's it looking like?
Yeah.
We looking bad?
Yeah.
It's looking good. We're trending in the right direction.
I would say it's good news overall. It's just a lot of information to share, so that's why I don't want to get into too much detail because we could be here for a while. But we previously only had up till 2021, so 22, 23, and 24 have since been added, and it's absolutely trending in the right direction. So, yeah, I was quite surprised by this. You know, we didn't have the data and the rebounding effects from
Right.
post-COVID. So naturally, you would think that there would be some rebound. I'll be bet shorter than what it was, but yeah. So this is going down in a really great way. Just give a really short recap. This is broken down by 3 different sectors: energy sector, which is our built environment, so building energy use; travel, which is vehicle miles traveled; and then our waste. Energy, our energy grid is consistently getting cleaner, so energy is really holding us down right now. You can see travel is still significantly less than it was pre-COVID. It's moderately trending up, but impressively much lower than pre-COVID still. And then waste is a bit higher. We're not necessarily certain here. However, I have learned the way that they calculate this is actually not necessarily specific to Minnetonka. It's more like, I believe there's more of like a regional data set that's developed by the counties, and then it's divided by your population. So it's not necessarily like this is the waste data particular to Minnetonka. It's more like I see it as more of like a trend of the region and more of a subset of what that looks like for our population size. But we'll have a wider discussion on this. Regional Indicators provided a whole series of city slides. They are by far the data experts on this. So this is a public website. You scroll down to here to find Minnetonka. You might need to zoom out a little bit. Scroll down here to the white arrow. Scroll up here. So it's a little confusing. To these various slides. And they go into more detail on what is happening and what the data means. So I'd love to spend more time on this. We just received this, I believe it was last week, or the very end of the week prior. So this is very new to all of us here, but very exciting and nice to have this data finally available. So,
Ms. Sutherland, is this information developed by the Metropolitan Council?
Great question. I'm going to go back to the main slide. So here's a list. So the project lead is LHB. They're I don't know how they necessarily define themselves. I think they're an engineering firm of sorts. They list it somewhere on here, but they are a firm that specializes in this sort of greenhouse gas data. I actually think that they're an architectural firm.
Okay.
If I'm remembering correctly. So there's all these different sponsors, you know, Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, Great Plains Institute, Metropolitan Council, the state of Minnesota Department of Commerce, U.S. Department of Energy. They have contributors. I'm not sure necessarily how they're divided, but it is a collective effort, to say the least. And actually, one of their slides, I believe it was this slide, 87 communities receive climate data through this initiative. So it's not unique to Minnetonka. It's very widely used. They described some background, and they said in 2007, when the Green Step Cities initiative was created, cities wanted to know how to track and collect greenhouse gas data. And so this initiative was born from that. And so it was a learning process, but actually Minnetonka, I've learned, was one of the founding cities to receive data for free at that time. So we actually are very fortunate in that our data goes all the way back to 2007, where some cities or counties, you know, you can see that theirs does not. And so that also is why it only goes back to 2007. So if you're wondering why that's because that's when this initiative was founded. So again, we could talk for a while about this. I think it's really, really exciting. I'll share these links in the Friday e-news with the commission. If anyone watching wants to play around on this very interactive data table, you can go to regionalindicatorsmn.com/city-summary, search for Minnetonka, and you can play around with this. So stay tuned for more information, but very exciting update. And then lastly, ambassador opportunities. We have a few coming up. So actually tomorrow, or no, Wednesday. Oh, I think I have that date wrong because it actually is tomorrow. So I think it's the 18th. And I also have the day wrong. Sorry about that. It's Wednesday, March 18th at Ridgedale Library, Switch Together event. So if you recall, we talked about Switch Together before. Hennepin County was supporting this. It's a group buy effort to reduce the cost of solar panels. So the more people that buy into these programs, economies of scale just reduces the cost per person. So if you're interested, this is kind of like the second round. You can go and learn more. If you search Switch Together event at Ridgedale Library online, you'll find the information there. But if any of the commissioners wants to attend that for information learning and then report it back to the commission, you're welcome and encouraged to do that. We've talked about the 2026 commission work plan having these training opportunities that the commission said that they would complete. That would be an example of one that you could go and learn more and kind of report back to the commission if you want.
Do you know what time that is?
It's been, I've shared it on our Sign Up Genius page.
Okay.
So I don't have it off the top of my mind, but if you're interested, I can send you the link for that, or you could go back to our Friday e-news last week and follow that link, and I have the link on there.
Okay, thank you.
I could maybe, and just in case people are watching, let's maybe just do a quick search and see if we can find it. Switch Together, Ridgedale. Here we go. Oh, it is the 19th. Okay, so it is Thursday. So if you go to register, here. Thursday, March 19th, 6 to 7:30 at Ridgedale Library. Minnetonka Switch Together, Solar 101. Solar United Neighbors is the group that supports that. Apologies, lost my slide now. Okay. That's an opportunity. Saturday, April 18th, Ridgedale Library Earth Day event. We have 2 tables. In the past, we've hosted an organics recycling table, and then I think we also have it open for just a general climate action and adaptation plan table that the commission can kind of choose. What you want to host. I think one of our last farmers markets we did an electrification table, so home electrification. So if you want to attend that, again, that's on the Sign Up Genius for you to sign up. And then lastly, our Earth Day clothing swap, which is really exciting. That's on the following Sunday, April 26th, so the week of Earth Day. Earth Day is actually on that 22nd, the same day as the boards and commissions appreciation dinner. So if you're willing to help out at that event, we could certainly use your help. I think last year we had 12 people helping, and we needed every bit of those hands. This year it's actually going to be held at the community center too. The marsh was really great, but it just wasn't quite big enough, and there was a bit of concern with the steps that people were required to take. So while I would like to host potentially a smaller event there again, because it was really fun being a part of that marsh community and getting some of their patrons to attend, this year we're going to try it at the community center again. All right. Oh, yep. Sorry.
If I could add just one thing, Chair Golub, just to inform you about a new commissioner you'll have joining you. The Planning Commission selected their representative to this body. Her name is Greta Shear. She's a new planning commissioner to Minnetonka, but she has some background in commission work. She served on the Minneapolis Planning Commission in the past. She's obviously a resident of Minnetonka. She's also a small business owner here in Minnetonka, and has said she's very passionate about sustainability work and is very excited to join this body. She unfortunately was out of town this week, so couldn't be here at her first meeting, but she'll join you in May.
How do you spell her last name?
S-H-E-R.
I will note she's actually already volunteered for joining a few of these events that you see posted. So she's very excited, and I'm happy to see that she's interested in volunteering. Okay, so with that, I'll hand it off to you, Chair, for the next item.
Thank you. Item number 7 is a report from my fellow sustainability commissioners. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to report? Commissioner Meyer, thank you.
Yes. Rewiring America has been providing a free intensive course on electrification of homes, particularly for residents. And they've had 10 cohorts of this education series over the past 3 years, educating over, I think it's 1,500 people. And I've started this course, and it's enlightening. It's very good review and detailed information about electrification decision-making that residents would need to make for heat pumps, induction stoves, heat pump water heaters, dryers, and the insulation and energy audit in the beginning to try to be more energy efficient, and helping residents make the decisions of upfront cost, long-term energy utilization, and it's been a fascinating course, and I'm just in the middle of it right now, but hope to be able to share that at our tabling events and maybe for a presentation at some point.
Thank you, Commissioner Meyer. Anything else that my fellow commissioners would like to share?
Oh, I
Mr.
don't have any,
Patain.
I was just going to comment on what Commissioner Meyer said. First of all, I didn't know if when you said has been enlightening, if that was a pun. If so, I appreciated it. Second of all, I do hope you do a presentation on it once you finish it, because I think that, I do appreciate the presentations. And so I think it creates greater access to our community, our Minnetonka community. So if you could bring that back to us, that would be appreciated.
Thank you. Anything else? I have one note or one item I'd like to share with my fellow commissioners. This was from the BBC. This is informational only, and it does not represent my opinion, but I think it's directly relevant to what we do here. And it says, Trump revokes landmark ruling that greenhouse gases endanger public health. And I'm going to read just a couple of sentences here. The United States President Donald Trump has reversed a key Obama-era scientific ruling that underpins all federal actions on curbing planet-warming gases. The so-called 2009 endangerment finding concluded that a range of greenhouse gases were a threat to public health. It has become the legal bedrock of federal efforts to rein in emissions, especially in vehicles. The White House called the reversal the largest deregulation in American history, saying it would make cars cheaper, which it may. Environmental groups say the move is by far the most significant rollback on climate change yet attempted, and are set to challenge it in the courts. So we'll have to stay tuned to see what happens. But it was very disheartening to see that, but that is the federal government. Anyway, that's the only thing I wanted to add. It's purely informational. With that, that concludes item 7, and I'd like to move to item 8, which is other business. If there's no additional business, and Ms. Sutherland says there's not, I'd like to move to item number 9, which is adjournment. And would anyone like to make the motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
A motion.
Thank you. Is there a second for that?
I'll second.
Thank you. I think we can simply say all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you all.